Have you ever walked into a conversation hoping for repair and walked out defending yourself as though you had done something wrong? Have you ever brought up a small human need and somehow ended up apologizing for having emotions? If that feeling sounds familiar to you, that quiet shock, that slow unraveling inside, you are not alone. And there's a name for it. And only a survivor truly understands how devastating it is. This is Annie's story, and I'm telling it for her. She wasn't asking for much that night, just 5 minutes to stand in the shower and get cleaned up. Her baby girl was a few months old at the time, long past the stage where a husband would be afraid to hold them or handle them. You can kind of understand that with a newborn, maybe. But Annie hadn't slept in a while. Her body just needed a hot shower. So he was watching TV in the next room, and Annie went to him and said, "Would you please take her for a few minutes, watch her? I just need a shower." He didn't look up at her. Then he sighed. Oh boy, what a sharp, impatient sigh it was, a tightening of his jaw, look that she knew well. "What now, Annie? What did I do this time?" Annie was thrown by that. I didn't say that you did anything. I just need a minute of your time." He stood up fast, like she had accused him of a crime. "So once again, I'm the bad guy because you're overwhelmed because of me. You always make me to be the problem," is what he said. Naturally, her heart sank. I mean, she just felt ridiculous, and she thought her request was human, reasonable, but now she's scrambling to fix his mood, soften her tone, backtrack, reassure him that he's fine. She says something like, "I didn't mean it like that. I can't do anything right now for you, Annie, nothing." And just like that, the conversation shifted. It wasn't about her exhaustion anymore. It wasn't even about the baby. Wasn't even about her asking for help. It was about him, his offended pride, his hurt feelings, his imagined accusations. She ended up apologizing to him. She apologized for being tired, for needing a break, for asking for 5 minutes alone. And when she finally stepped into the shower, the water wasn't even a relief. She felt shameful, shame that she couldn't even figure out what was going on. But a survivor knows that kind of shame. And later, Annie would come to realize what it was, something powerful. She realized she wasn't asking for too much. What happened to Annie that night has a name, and it's called reversal. And it's the opposite of resolution. Resolution is built on honesty, repair, understanding, two people trying to move closer. Resolution says, let's figure this out together. Reversal, on the other hand, is something entirely different. Reversal shifts the weight of the conflict away from them and onto you. It turns your legitimate need into their wounded feelings. It turns your clarity into their defensiveness. It turns your exhaustion into your unfair tone. Reversal isn't miscommunication. It's not two people just seeing things differently. It's a tactic. Sometimes it's unconscious, that it protects a narcissist from one thing they just can't tolerate: accountability. They want to escape. They want relief from responsibility. They want the emotional spotlight turned onto you, so you walk into wanting peace and walk out of defending your character. You walk in asking for support and walk out apologizing for wanting anything at all. If this has ever happened to you, please hear me clearly. You were not the problem, and you were definitely not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong person, and only a survivor is going to understand that. The quiet devastation of realizing. If you've ever stood in a shower like Annie wondering how a simple request turned into a character assassination, this one's for you. If you've ever walked away from a conversation confused, spinning, feeling ashamed and exhausted, this one's for you. And if you're just now finding the language, reversal, resolution, accountability, I'm glad you're here because you're not imagining anything. You are recognizing them. I started this podcast because I wanted to tell Annie's story, hoping that her story would open the door for others who are looking for a space to tell their story or parts of it. And the goal was, and still is, to validate others, to inspire them to understand that they're not alone in this situation, that others have experienced it. And your comments show that. I'm just so grateful for you because it's on account of your courage, your truths that are making this podcast thrive and do so well. So I thank you for that. I'm Keil Hackley, attorney, author of the book Undercurrent, and your host here on the Are You Annie podcast. And as always, remember, you are stronger than you ever believed. You are a warrior against narcissistic abuse. And you are tenacious, and you are never going to give up on your dreams. Thank you again for being here. And until next time, please take good care of yourself. And thank you. Bye.